Thank you for stopping by today. I hope we can provide you some phenomenal information and inspire and motivate you to help change your life. I've been doing liposuction here for 15 years. I've seen thousands and thousands and thousands of patients, and I'm sharing my experience on how people have changed their lives, how I've seen them do it myself, how I've helped them do it. In liposuction, and many people, I think you have this you know reaction that when you hear the word liposuction, you immediately jump to it's strictly cosmetic, and the individuals who are getting it are vain. And I think that might be true for many plastic surgeons and the type of people that they choose to help. But it's not the case with the patients that I've been helping. The people that I've been helping are larger individuals who are looking to significantly change their lives, and it's like they make this decision that they've had enough of being fat. They've had enough of the restrictions, the limitations, the low confidence, the being bullied and made fun of, the inability to buy clothes that fit you properly, and when you decide that it's enough, and you've dealt with it, as much as you're willing to deal with it, and now you have to change. Right at that point, that's the point that I want to help people with, because it's in many cases they get to this point where they're ready to change, but they're really not sure what to do, and their perception is that it's going to take so long and it's scary, and they don't want to do it. So it's kind of like they hit this wall and they stop. So with liposuction, it's like you're at this wall, and I'm able to give you the ladder to climb over it. Because once you get over that wall, that struggle, that fear of the unknown, once you get over that and get huge, massive change, like this young lady here, huge, massive change that inspires you, it motivates you. I mean, the fact that this is possible, that a person this large, with that big of a belly, within just a matter of hours, is able to change. Now, this is 2 months post-op on this young lady. And you can see that the fold that hangs over, that covers her underwear in her before picture, that fold is gone completely. And we're talking 2 months out. So that skin has retracted back. And if you're able to zoom in, closer, and you may be able to see, but there's, she has some stretch marks, which you would expect from a person this size, right? And they've had some babies too. So that would be expected. However, the skin, despite the damage to the skin, the looseness of the skin, the thinness of the skin, despite all that, it retracted back and the fold went away completely. This is something that, like, I don't even know how to explain this stuff. I don't even know why this stuff works, but it does. And I've done it for so many people now that I'm just like, with my bullhorn, yelling this out at the top of my lungs. I want to help as many people as possible that need this kind of help. And I promise you, you probably know a lot of them. I know a lot of them. And those are the people that I know that I can help. And not only is it the liposuction, but try to imagine, what kind of confidence do you think a person would have after getting something like this? What do you think you would feel like doing? If you got rid of that belly, how would that make you feel? Where would you want to go? What kind of clothes would you want to wear? Who would you call? I mean, these are all things that it seems so simple, right? It seems so simple. Hey, we get these results, and we like the visual. Everybody likes to see the visual because it's so exciting, right? It's exciting. You see the visual, how much it changes. But start thinking about, what are the lifestyle, that change with this? The ability to do, what are you capable of doing when you get rid of this belly? How much has it restricted you? Many times people, like, they don't really know. Because they don't think that their belly restricts them. And so it's not until after they lose a belly like this that they realize how restrictive it actually is, how limiting it actually is, and how it keeps you stuck in this hole, this thinking that you can't do stuff. Say what's up to everybody on Facebook. Macias, Dolores, Reynoso, Jenny, Vanessa Washington. Vanessa Washington says, how much to lipo your back only? Vanessa, you can check out our quick quote system. The link is up above in the post here on Facebook. Just click on that link and you can go through the system, and based off of your BMI, we have pricing. for some of our more common procedures. If you're looking for something that is not a common package that we put together, doesn't mean that we can't help you. We do liposuction. We suck fat out of any part of the body, so we can definitely help you. But we just need to put together something. So that's where I would look into more of our formal consultation. But you can kind of get an idea of our pricing, so we're not going to hit you up with some crazy price. So you can kind of get an idea. What's up, Alejandra, Sean, Monique, Griselda? What's up, Corinne? My wife is here. She's hopefully going to be answering questions for some people. Okay. Leo, Aisha. All right. So if you guys have any questions, if you're curious, you're stopping by here, you see these pictures and you see how amazing this stuff is, and you're wondering like, what is it? This must be a fortune, right? It's not, and I think it's more affordable than you would imagine. And we make it super easy for you to just go check it out. We have a quick quote system which allows you don't even have to give us any of your pictures. We don't have to see any of that stuff. It's based off of your BMI and it's pretty darn accurate. So take a moment and go through the quick quote system. The link is on our website, myshapelipo.com, so you can definitely get it there. Let's see. We have a comment here. It says I had Abela says I had large volume liposuction. Good to hear. Maybe you can share a little bit of your experience and what's your thoughts. She says Trevor is more handsome in person though. Oh man, I don't know if I should take that as a compliment or
right, in person.
Backhanded, right? Okay, but that's good, I guess.
Goodness gracious.
I advise everyone to get the laser liposuction. It is good. It's we're trying to get the skin to retract back, and especially when we do larger volume. Obviously, the concern is that just like when you inflate a balloon, the skin's going to get damaged from the inflation that we put on it. And when you remove the volume, it is able to contract back amazingly well, significantly better than you could ever imagine. I mean, this one, truly blows me away. You can see in the before picture how her stomach has taken on this odd shape. It's almost like a duckbill. And the reasoning, now here's the reasoning, and many of you may be able to connect with this, is that she was covering up her belly, so she would wear her pants very tight in order to restrict the belly and make it look smaller. And she did this right in the middle of her stomach, which caused this roll right in the middle. And if you do this long enough, this usually takes about a decade to happen. But if you do it long enough, your body creates all this connective tissue and it makes it permanent. So it's there permanent. So obviously she's not wearing her pants in this picture, but it's still there. So with liposuction, we're able to break through that connective tissue, that fibrous tissue that the body forms, which allows us to eliminate these type of issues. And again, these there's no tummy tuck, no cutting of the skin. You can see those, if you zoom in, you can see those tiny little scars on the sides here. So I'm pointing right here. This is a purple little thing. Those are the little tiny scars. And you give that about a year and they'll fade away to nothing. All right. She says it was good. Trevor did a good job. My fupa hung approximately 7 inches down from me, and now it doesn't hang at all. Man, that's amazing, right? 7 inches. It blows my mind how big of a change. We used to talk about, people making, reducing their waist size by a couple inches, and we don't even talk about that stuff anymore because it's kind of, it just, look at how big of a deal this is, though. I mean, how big of a change is this? Her belly is at least 5 inches narrower just from front to back. Okay, she says you have no idea the changes you feel after liposuction. It's amazing. It really is, and I like to share those stories as much as I can. And the only way that I hear them is when these people tell us, and a lot of times we're hearing them. They're sharing the stories on the our private Facebook group, which is, if you go to Facebook, it's My Shape Lipo Support Group. Many of these individuals are sharing their stories there, or when they come back for treatment of other areas, they tell us their stories then. And that's the stuff. That's what lights me up. That's what gets me excited, to know how much we can affect and impact individuals' lives. And that, allows my work to live on through you. So in a way, I live on through you, through each one of you who have this procedure, and it changes your life. And you know what? I don't see you on a day-to-day basis, but I know that it's changed your life, and I know it's affected you in more ways than you even realize. And sometimes it may even take you years to realize how big of an impact this has actually had on your life. It says, how do you know what is your BMI? Good question, Sans. We on this quick quote system, it's the first thing that you do is you put in your information, your height and your weight, and it calculates your BMI. Based off of your BMI, we have created these categories. So it's basically different levels of our pricing. And when you click on that on the quick quote, it opens up and it'll show you only the information that's relevant for you. So it's an intuitive quick quote system, and it's a pretty cool thing. I try to make it really easy for you guys. Okay, Sweetie Shorty says, can you save these lives? I want to show this to my fiance when he gets home. Granville, do you know?
The lives
this is on Instagram.
Oh, on Instagram. See, Instagram has changed, so I don't think so anymore.
But they asked me to post, and we have a title to these, so I don't know where they're being stored.
Yeah.
I know that they're stored on Facebook though.
Yes, exactly.
Facebook keeps
Definitely
them,
Facebook.
so they'll always be there. And you'll find if you watch me a few times that if you've seen these lives, it's a lot of repetitive talk. However, a lot of the inspirational, motivational stuff is, it's at the moment. So you capture it if you can. If you can't, and hopefully you get it next time. She says, yeah, wow, that's crazy. I know, and it just keeps coming, right? It's amazing. We keep getting these pictures. Like every day we get more and more pictures. We've helped so many people, and these just incredible stories. And you guys, visually, you get to see these things, but the thing that really gets me excited is when I get to hear the stories. We just had a patient today. She's actually a medical student. She's 39 years old, and she went back to school after her kids got older. And she's in medical school right now, and she told me that they actually listen to these lives, her and her classmates, and they say they learn more from listening to me and Kale speak about these issues than they do in school, which that made me laugh, but it's also it's amazing. It's really cool that we're able to impact people in this way, and it's and again, I feel like I'm able to live beyond my days. That's really exciting to me. She said, the life after FUPA is gone, even my sex life has changed. Of course, y'all, it's the best feeling going to the mall and finding my size. I know, it's those little things, right? Those little things like going to the mall and a shopping center and being able to buy clothes off the rack. Like I know many of these larger individuals, even the people that aren't that big, it's the stuff's just not made for bodies that are not the same as everyone else. So with the liposuction, we can put you back in these normal, range of proportions, and that's really the issue. Is that when your proportions are off, and they're not in this normal range, the clothing manufacturers, you can't make individual stuff for these people that only fit into a small category. So what do they? The only option for these larger individuals that don't fit into the regular clothes is to buy bigger. So you have these big draping clothes, or buy clothes that are, that cling. They're what do they call it? What do they call the elastic latex? No,
Spandex.
No, spandex. Yeah, spandex fits everybody, right? But the sex life, nobody really talks about that. But imagine what happens when that belly gets out of the way and it's less shaken, right? Imagine what it's gonna feel like when your pubic area is not as big. She says her fupa was huge, and that that happens, and I see that often. And to be able to take that away, I can imagine makes a huge impact. Kale likes to joke that you're gonna end up having more kids because your husband can't keep his hands off you, and it might have some truth to it. See, Sweetie Shorty says, my dream is to have a flat stomach and smaller arms. Well, that's a great dream to have. We can definitely help you with that. And it's an exciting thing, I know we just did arms today. This lady had fairly large arms. This is the one that was in medical school, and she you can see it right away. And I know that she was blown away just by the things that she was saying. She couldn't stop looking. And once you have smaller arms like that, and that's a major thing that bothers you, and they're gone, it's like you're a different person, and you can act differently now because you think of yourself differently. And so there's really no way. Look at this. You have to act differently. You're a different person. Once your body has changed, you are a different person, and you will take on a different personality, because those insecurities that you had previously from the area that you felt was that you were insecure about. Once that insecurity is gone, you don't have to be insecure anymore. I mean, how simple does that sound, right? But yet it's true. Once your insecurity is gone, you don't have to be insecure anymore. So what are you going to do with yourself? And that's, I think, one of the hardest things to do is people don't even, it's like you don't even recognize yourself. You don't even recognize yourself. And since you don't recognize yourself, it's hard to figure out what your personality is going to be then. What are you going to start acting like when you're this leaner individual? When you don't have to hide as much as you were hiding before. What are you going to do? And some people, what I've seen, some people don't change, and they still keep the mindset of they call the big girl, right? They have this mindset that they are still the big girl, and they say, I don't want to be the small, I don't want to be skinny. And I think that this is a defense mechanism. Otherwise, why would you be coming to get liposuction? You clearly want to be smaller, but they tell themselves they don't want to be skinny, whatever that means. They've self-identified with the bigger person. And when we take that stuff away, they're not sure who they are anymore. And in a way, you have to recreate yourself. And that's where the excitement really comes down to, is because you get to recreate who you are. And you don't have to be that insecure person who's been hiding from everything, not going to different functions, not taking pictures, not spending time with people because you're embarrassed, not going back and seeing the people that you grew up with because you don't want them to see you now. You don't have to be that person anymore. Man, if you had that big fupa, would you avoid having sex perhaps? Maybe. If you were insecure, would you avoid being around people? Absolutely. Sweetie Shorty says, when you're overweight, is laser lipo pointless? Does only real lipo work? Laser lipo is not a instead of liposuction. Laser is, Smart Lipo is the brand that we use. It's a laser, and it's just a laser. Liposuction is a removal of fat, and Smart Lipo is just a laser. It's a laser that is meant to tighten the skin, and it's not pointless. In fact, when you're heavier, it's more important to have the laser because it allows your belly to tighten up, and it stimulates the collagen growth. I mean, this is still, it just blows me away. I swear, I see these pictures, and every time I see them, and I see them like every day we do these lives, it still blows me away. Still blows me away. I can't even believe it. And I start to wonder sometimes, are these photoshopped, and these people post these live, and we're just sharing them. Okay, do you offer payment plans? If so, what is the first down payment? We have a finance company that we deal with, and they do finance you. But it's a third-party company. When you go to our website, you can find the finance company, and it's on the finance page on our website, myshapelipo.com. And the down payment, I guess, our down payment that we require is 25% of the procedure cost. But the full procedure cost could be covered by the financing. Sweetie Shorty says, my stomach makes me severely depressed. I really want to go to you for a drastic change. That's what I'm talking about, sweetie. It can be depressing, and it can be overwhelming in that, you may have tried other things, whether it's diet, exercise, whatever you've tried, and it's not working, and it gets frustrating, and that frustration is what stops people. And when it stops you, it doesn't allow you to move forward with your life. So you get stuck. You get stuck in this rut where you don't want to change, or you feel like it's not worth it to change because you'd have to work so hard. But clearly you can see these are changes that it takes an hour and a half to 2 hours of a procedure. And it happens so quickly. Now, clearly the final results are not an hour and a half to 2 hours, but the work initially, it's quick. It happens quickly. The final result after all the healing process can take time. Sometimes your body's continuing to heal for up to a year, but you'll see results immediately. Most of these pictures that you're looking at, these are months out after the procedure, so you see the results quickly, but your body will continue to heal. It continues to do things. It's kind of front loaded where the bulk of the healing, about 80%, comes in the first couple months, and then the last 20% is stretched out over the course of about a year. Okay, Sweetie says, I eat so healthy and I'm overweight. I have PCOS and thyroid issues. That stuff can complicate things and make it a little bit more challenging for individuals who suffer from those. This, like I said, I've said many times, is everybody's journey is a little bit different, and you have to figure out your body and what's going to work for your body. This isn't right for everybody, but for a lot of people, it can make a huge impact and change your life. Especially those who have other issues like Sweetie Shorty, who's saying, she's got PCOS or thyroid. Some of those make it really difficult to lose weight. And that again, if once you get this level of frustration, you start to give up, and you have to have a reinvigoration of your life and want to live. And it's a decision to live, and it's a decision to become your best version, whatever that means to you. So I can guarantee you, she could have never imagined this possible. Never. I couldn't have ever imagined. When she came in, there's no way I would have guessed that this would have happened. But yet it did. And so when you see things like this, your mind has to take you to this place like, holy crap, if that's possible for her, then why isn't it possible for me? And if this is possible for somebody, what else is possible for them? Imagine this was treatment of the front of the abdomen. Wait till she comes back to get the backside treated, the waistline. And all of a sudden she goes from this chunky chick to a lean, hot, sexy, mama, whatever you want to call it, right? And with a full waistline, with an hourglass figure, with a nice shaped butt. I mean, it changes your life. It changes your life so quickly. Do you have Twitter? I do not have Twitter. I know. I really honestly don't like social media, but we're on, like right now I'm live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. I don't like TikTok because it's a Chinese company and they track all your data, and I don't like that. I know business stuff. I should be getting into these things. Twitter it never caught on with me. Never made sense to me to get on Twitter. I don't have a personal account, so. That before looks like me. This is why we show these pictures. I know that these individuals will connect with somebody. Somebody looks the same, and when you see what's possible for somebody that looks kind of like you, you can kind of imagine and get an idea of what's possible for you and what it might be like for you. In addition, Sweetie Shorty, if you haven't joined our private Facebook group, go to the private Facebook group, because these individuals are the ones that are sharing publicly. Well, it's in a private Facebook group, but they share the stuff, and anybody can see it that's in the group. And not only can you see it, but you can then go connect with these individuals. See, this was treatment of the front of the abdomen, and you can see that fold disappeared. The belly button, look at the belly button, how that's changed. It went from this sad face look where the skin starts pulling the belly button down, and it looks like a sad face. But afterwards, it's totally different. It's retracted back, it looks normal. Okay, my goal is to save up enough money to go to you and go to America in Canadian. Oh, you are Canadian. Yeah, we get a lot of Canadians. It seems to have slowed down in the past few years, so I don't know. I know at one point they were telling me the exchange rate made it significantly more expensive, so I don't know if that's what changed it, but I know, you know, that almost all of the people have said that in Canada, the prices were pretty high, the wait was pretty long, and the doctors didn't have much experience there. So it doesn't matter where you live in the country because it's a short flight to Vegas from pretty much anywhere in the United States or in Canada. And you're not, if you can't find these results from someone close to you, then don't even waste your time and money. Because if you're not going to get the results, then why spend the money? And it's a shame. I get so many of these patients that they go somewhere else, they go to their local doctor and they pay, you know, a fair price, and then they don't get the results. And then they have to go somewhere else to pay and get it fixed. And it's not like the somewhere else that you go is going to give you a discount just because you spent a bunch of money with some other doctor. That's not the way it works. In fact, it's more difficult for the revision. It's more difficult after you've had liposuction to go back in the same area because now you have scar tissue. So in many cases, it may be more expensive if you want to get these things fixed. So get it done right the first time. Get as much fat out as you have to the first time. Don't be caught by any of these doctors that tell you, hey, we'll get whatever we get out now, and then if we have to do more, we'll go back in the same area to get it again. Don't believe that crap. You don't have to do that. You certainly don't have to do that. We get all this fat out. These are one single procedures, and you get it done once. And this is why we do it. We get this done once, and then she's gonna be so happy. She's gonna come then for her upper back. She's gonna come for her legs. She's gonna come for the front of her abdomen. You know, this is how we get our repeat business. It's not by going back in the same areas. Our patients come back 3-4 times, but they get full body liposuction. This is how we change people's lives. This is how we do it. Okay, so I have PCOS and thyroid issues. Will I gain weight back even though I eat healthy? You know, I can't, there's no promises I can make with that because I don't know. I don't know what your individual situation. I know you said you PCOS, but I don't you know, I can't predict that kind of stuff. But I can tell you that lifestyle changes are it's imperative that you make lifestyle changes. And if whatever you're doing isn't working now, then you're not doing enough. And I don't know what that means, but that's the only answer. Whatever you're doing, if it's not getting you the results that you want, then you have to change and do something different and do more and harder and push yourself to your limits. Because just because someone else gets results with doing a certain level of things doesn't mean you're going to get the same results. So just keep that in mind. If you're not getting the results that you want, then you have to do something different. The definition of an insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. It's not going to happen. You have to change. In every aspect of your life, you have to change. And it's a constant, never-ending improvement. That's the key to living the good life. In Canada, they say I'm too big for lipo, but your patients are bigger than me. Of course, you know, this is the lie that doctors tell you. There's a lot of them out there. Plastic surgeons will tell you have to get a tummy tuck. It's a lie. They tell you your BMI is too high. It's a lie. They just don't want to work with you. It's the restrictions that they put on the people that they want. It's what they choose to work with, which is fine, right? These are the people that I choose to work with because this is how I make a huge impact in the world. This is how I change people's lives. And when we change that person's life, they go ahead and help other people, and it's a ripple effect. And I've seen this over years, and it's freaking awesome. This is why I pay it forward. I help share all this information with as many people as possible so we can keep paying it forward. Keep making that ripple. So when we help these people, they help more people, and those people help other people. Change the world one person at a time. Okay. Sweetie Shorty says, wish I was skinny. She said I was skinny then I was when I was younger. Then at age something, her thyroid and PCOS made you balloon up. Yeah, you know, I mean, look, our bodies, I was just telling my son, right? We're all born with these bodies. We're given these bodies. We're given these brains. We got to figure out how this stuff works. There's no manual for this stuff. Most of us have no idea how our brain works, how our mind works, and how we figure things out. And we just assume. And most people are working on autopilot most of the time. I know I was until I woke up and I realized I was on autopilot all the time. And it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's a way that us humans and our minds allow us to be ultra productive. So the fact that we work on autopilot has allowed us to be ultra productive and consistent. And this autopilot is formed and we're programmed over years of our youth. And once we get to this point, life becomes a little bit easier because we don't necessarily have to think about the simple things in life. However, here's the big problem. Here's a huge, massive problem. What happens if your program sucked and the stuff that you were programmed with when you were younger are not serving you now? And that's what's happened with almost all of us. See, we were programmed when I was a youth. We were programmed to believe certain things. I always believed that all food is, if it was edible, it had to be good for me, because why would the government, put out stuff that was bad for me? Why would the government allow for things that were bad for me? That's why we have FDA, right? Food and Drug Administration. So I thought that the government was protecting me. And come to find out that that's total bullshit. And they weren't protecting me, they were trying to make money off of me. And they were just trying to extract money out of all of us. All these businesses have. And so when you wake up to some of these realizations and you realize that, you gotta be like, holy crap, it's my responsibility. I gotta take responsibility. If I wanna have this kind of body, I have to take responsibility for myself. No one else is gonna do it for me. Nobody else is gonna tell you what to eat. You need to go figure it out for yourself. Do the research. There's tons of books out there. All the stuff you learned in health school is totally obsolete right now. So if you're going off the knowledge that you learned in school, it's obsolete. Let me repeat that. If you're going off the knowledge that you learned in school, it's obsolete. Your kids, man, they're way more advanced, and you should be paying attention to what they're learning now, because the stuff that they're learning now is leaps and bounds ahead of where we were in the past. All the stuff that I learned in school, the medicine, the drugs, all that stuff is different now. It's all changing. Everything changes. You have to stay abreast with all the change, or else you get left behind. And you'll see this in like your parents or your grandparents as they get older, right? They're left behind. They can't keep up with these cell phones. Oh my God, I can't keep up with it. The emails. And if you don't keep up with the stuff, you will be left behind. And it happens. And don't become that person, oh, I'm just old. That's a bullshit excuse. You can still learn. All of us can. You can still change. You can still improve. You can still get better. I had a patient that was 65 who got a 360 and a BBL, 65 years old. It's never too late. It's never too late. You want to change your life? You want to live a different life? Hey, if you live an amazing life for only 5 more years, is it worth it? Hell yeah, it's worth it. Is that better than living a shitty life for 5 more years? Absolutely. So change now. There's no other time. The past is just in your imagination. The future is just in your imagination. The only time that actually exists is the right now. And if you don't make the decisions to change now, then you're never going to change. Putting it off till tomorrow never actually comes, because when tomorrow comes, it's a today. When tomorrow comes, it's a today. So it's not a tomorrow anymore. So when you tell your mind, I'm going to change tomorrow, your mind's like, all right, cool. So when tomorrow comes, your mind's like, tomorrow's the next day. Tomorrow's the next day. Tomorrow's the next day, and your mind will keep telling you this stuff. That's why when you say, "Oh, I'm gonna go to Europe within the next 5 years or 10 years," and you said that when you were young, 25, 30 years ago, and you've never been to Europe, right? Because it's always tomorrow. It's always in 5 years from now. And we keep putting our lives off. And what happens is people put their life off until they die, or until it's too late, and then they're on their deathbed and they have all these regrets and things that they wish they would have done. Stop putting your life off. Stop being lazy. Get up and live. And if you're not gonna live, then you're gonna die. And it's that easy. Either you're living and you're pushing your life to new levels of advancement and growth, or you're decaying and dying, and it's a slow death. Many people are just on a slow decline and death, and it's a shame, and I hate seeing that, because I know that it's possible to have a better life for all of you. Okay. Sebastian says, how long do I have to wait to get my lipo after a kidney stones laser surgery? Those, if my understanding, those are laparoscopic surgery, and there's just tiny little puncture holes that they use for those, and so it's not. I don't think you have to wait a long time. And the more important thing is just that the wounds are healed. So that might be 3 months, 6 months. Generally speaking, we would say 6 months to wait after any surgeries in the same area that we're treating. But if you're anxious, and we can evaluate you and see if we can make things work. See, can you have laser lipo on all the thigh area? Absolutely. So laser is different from liposuction. Laser is just a Smart Lipo is the brand of laser. Liposuction is the removal of the fat. Laser is used to tighten the skin, and you can use it on any part of your body, and it's meant to increase the collagen growth in the area, which allows for tighter, thicker skin. What's up, Martha Zavala, previous patient? Amazing results from her, if I remember correctly. Violetta. Okay, Maria says, do you know if insurance will cover the massages after lipo? No idea. Probably not. Insurance doesn't cover shit, so insurance is a big Ponzi scheme if you guys haven't figured that out yet. The only way the insurance pays anybody is if I pay my payments and don't get hurt, then they can pay for someone else. It's a big Ponzi scheme. Social Security, same thing. Hope you guys are waking up to this stuff. I'm just planting seeds for you. Maybe you realize. What's up, Violetta? You're welcome. Okay. Sweetie Shorty says, I miss being 105 pounds. So you gotta work to get there. Look, I speak from experience that I was at my heaviest. I was about 220 pounds, and that was about 5-6 years ago. Now I am about 175. And I've lost a significant amount of weight. I also had liposuction too. So I've been through these things. I've pushed my limits so far in every different direction, testing myself out to see what's possible for me, and I've learned a lot that have helped me to become what I am today. And I've told people in the past, it's not what you get, it's what you become. So if you don't get this body, it's you become this individual who has this body. And that's really the difference, and it's a mindset thing. It's the way that you look at things, it's the way that you perceive things. Because if you're saying like you got to get this body, you got to get this look that you're getting, and we just want to achieve that. Once you get it, it's like, who cares? So what? Now you're this thin person. Well, there's a bunch of other thin people out there too. So you're nothing special really. None of us are really that special from that perspective. It is what it is. You'll get just like if you went out and bought a new car. It's exciting for the first couple months maybe. You got this new car you're driving, but then you realize it's just getting you from point A to point B, and so it's not that big of a deal anymore. And so just like this, you're gonna get your new body, and it's gonna be awesome for a few months, and then you're gonna realize it's not that big of a deal. But if you don't change the mindset, you don't change the way that you think, then you're still stuck in the same hole. All right, I'm gonna get to this questions on YouTube. Says, is it painful? So was that Jesse Ray? So the pain level, now everything is done under local anesthetics. You're awake the whole time. It's the safest, most cost-effective way of doing the procedure. And the pain you feel is the initial getting the numb process, and I liken it to kind of like when you go to the dentist and they're getting you numb. So those first couple injections is uncomfortable. You don't like it, but once it gets you numb, you feel a lot better after that. Let's see. Everyone looks incredible. Can't wait to be able to do this for myself. Okay, Alicia says, I'm 18. I plan on getting healthy and working out and going to the gym, but there's this fat hanging over my stomach and my arms. I'm really planning on getting Lipo 360 soon. I weigh about 176 pounds. 18 years old, right? This is where it starts. And that's, some of us, I'm in my 40s now, some of you might be in your 50s, and realize that it started when you're 18. It started when you were younger even in many cases. And imagine if you could have solved your problems when you were 18. This is the things that I think about. Like I solved a lot of my issues, and it took decades to figure it out, and to figure out how my body works and how to achieve the things that I achieve. It took me decades, and we always think like, man, I wish I would have known that when I was a kid. I wish I would have known these things. Well, now these kids are learning these things, and then they're going to be able to carry this forward, and then they're going to be able to teach other people. I'm telling you, this stuff is so exciting. When a younger person can make the changes, then their potential just explodes, and they can do anything with their life. Because when you're a bigger girl at 18, you feel limited and you're restricted, you're embarrassed, you don't take risks, you don't go out and do things that you should be doing to advance your life. So if we could allow you to just take that extra step, get over the hump, get past these challenges, these fears, these limitations. If you can get past these things, your life is exponentially better. Not just a little better, exponentially better. And why is that? It's because it affects every aspect of your life. It's all connected. Your entire life is all connected. We see just the stomach, but the truth is the stomach is attached to the person. The person is attached to the legs and the brain and everything. Everything's attached together. So when one thing changes, the whole thing changes. It's a whole system. Okay, Miss Cher Bear. Okay, what if I take blood thinners? I'm currently losing weight, 52 pounds so far, but I feel like I'm going to have some problem areas. Blood thinners, we can work with people with blood thinners. There's usually a protocol. Obviously it depends on what your situation, why you're taking blood thinners, but there's typically a protocol for blood thinners where you're able to stop for like a week prior to the procedure, and then we could do the procedure, and then following the procedure, depending on what your needs are, there are shorter acting anticoagulants, like injectable stuff that you can go on for a period of time until you get back onto something like the longer term anticoagulants. So there are protocols, and if you're serious, I suggest you do our formal consultation so we can get more detail and see if we can work out a plan for you. Okay, the only thing is the money I'm trying to save up. I did so much research, and you are the best I ever seen for changes. Well, I appreciate that, sweetie shorty. I've been doing this a long time, and I hear these stories all the time. And the thing that blows me away is how some people found me 7-8 years ago, and then it took them that long to come into the office and to get their procedure done. And this is why I talk about journeys, because everybody's journey is a little bit different, right? Sometimes you're not quite ready to make that big leap, right? That big change and spend this money to get these changes. Maybe you believe that you have to go try all these other things, and absolutely you should. Go try everything. Try it all. You've got to figure out your body, and if you can't figure out how to make it work, then we can make it work for you. And follow the things that I say. I give really it's like living a better life is not as difficult as people think. It's simple changes to your habits. As I was saying earlier, people live on this autopilot. We all do, and that's fine. In fact, I do as well. However, what I did is I reprogrammed my brain. So all the programming that I had when I was younger, I unlearned. So I forgot that crap, and then I relearned, and I reprogrammed. Once I figure out the way I want to do things, I created a new habit, a new pattern, and I reprogrammed my unconscious to just do the things that are right unconsciously. So now I'm on autopilot, but I'm on the badass, top-notch, do whatever I want autopilot, because I created it myself consciously. And you can too. It's not that difficult. But when you're stuck on this autopilot, it seems overwhelming. And so the way to get out of this is become conscious in small little areas. Become conscious of how much water you're drinking and start changing that. Be conscious of how much activity you're doing, how many steps you're taking perhaps, and start changing that and improving that. Because when you start tracking stuff, you realize how little you're actually doing and how you're not even coming close to what you thought you were. How about sleep? How many of you actually get 8 hours of sleep a night? Probably not many of you. And I thought I'd sleep well. I thought I'd I get lots of sleep. Then I started tracking and I realized, holy crap, I'm getting in bed to spend 8 hours in bed. I'm spending 8 hours in bed. However, I'm not actually sleeping that 8 hours. So as it turns out, it takes us time to get to sleep. And then when you're asleep, there's disturbances perhaps. You wake up, maybe you have to go to the bathroom or whatever the case. So you're not actually sleeping. So when you wake up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, it takes time to get back to sleep. So that 8 hours turns into 5 hours of actual sleep. I didn't realize this. This is tracking. And you'll find the same thing if you think you're drinking enough water, you'll find that you're totally not. And if you track it, you'll actually realize this and become, it's like consciousness. It's consciousness. Once you realize, then you already know what to do. It's easy. It's not that difficult. I got this new tracker I want to talk to you guys about called a Whoop. This tracker, you can see it. Okay, I wear it on my wrist. Pretty cool. It's tracks quite a few things. It tracks the heart rate, tracks the temperature, the heart rate variability was how the heart changes, which is they gauge that to give them information about our overall our ability to recover. And so heart rate, steps, it also does the temperature, but then the interesting thing is it takes all this information and then it compiles it in a way that they give you usable information, and it's a way. So for example, if you wanted to add a new habit onto your lifestyle, you can, by tracking it through the Whoop, you can tell whether the effect that it has on your life. For example, you can track meditating, and you can say whether you had a better day after meditation versus a day with no meditation. You can tell the difference, and you get tangible information, which gives you positive reinforcement or negative reinforcement, which allows you to then change your life. And that's the key, right? You have to become conscious of what you're doing, because once you're conscious, you can actually change. It's the unconsciousness that we don't change. When we're not aware of what we're doing, we're not aware of the effect that our lifestyle is having on our body. When we're not aware of that, we clearly can't change. There's no way. If you're not aware of what you're doing, then you would never know. But in fact, most of us are walking around all day long, totally unconscious of what's happening. Totally unconscious. And the only way that you're going to find these things out is if you take action to learn what you're doing. Technology is cool. Like these Whoops, like I don't have to do anything. I don't have to write anything down. I don't have to go on any app. It automatically collects the information and it gives me input. And I've only had it for about 5 days now, but it's already helping me to change some of the things that I'm doing. This is incredible. My dream is to save up enough money, travel to America. That's awesome. Your fiance supports it too. Good to hear. I can't wait to see you, Sweetie Shorty. I like it when people get interactive here, asking questions. I want to help change people's lives, and hopefully you are one of those people. See, Isa Bastian, she says, I live in Simi Valley, and we are going to Vegas next month. Hopefully I can schedule my appointment April 21st. That's cool, Isa. My sister lives in Simi Valley. I grew up in Chatsworth, which is just over the hill from Simi Valley. I went to Chatsworth High School. I went to Cal State Northridge University. I'm a Valley boy through and through. But California sucks now. So sorry to say that, but it sucks. And everybody's moving out of California to Vegas. And I was just talking to someone from Texas. She said that all the Californians coming to Texas, and you Californians are driving up prices everywhere, and it sucks. So yeah, California, their taxes and restrictions. I was just out there last weekend, and they're still restricted with this whole COVID joke. So if any of you are really, you're questioning whether this might be the right thing for you, please go check out the quick quote system that we created. It's made it really simple. You can get the pricing for all the basic, the common procedures that we do. So you can have an idea of what to expect, and if you're trying to plan this out for the future, you kind of have an idea of how much money you need to save, and you can get your timing down a little bit. And it's free, it's easy. You don't have to give any crazy information, and if you're serious and it's within your price range and everything makes sense, and then you make this decision that you want to change your life and you want to move forward, then the next step is getting our formal consultation. That formal consultation is $100, and you get to speak with myself or with Kale, and we'll review some pictures of you, and we'll develop a plan, and get you on track to change your life. Yeah, Cat from My Shape. She's from California too. So, Cali. I love it, but I hate it, right? Every time I go back there, I'm like, this place sucks. The traffic and crowds, and like you go to a restaurant and you gotta wait. Like, living in a place like Vegas, and Vegas is more of a tourist trap, but when you get outside of the city part of Vegas, it's like a smaller town. It's not as crowded. Locals here, we don't have a lot of traffic, and it's nice. So I'm happy not living in a big city, even though Vegas is not necessarily a small city. Okay. Queen Lucy says that she was 150 always, and then she's doubled now. You can change. You can change. Don't ever think you can't change. It's always possible. And you can have whatever you want. You just got to be willing to do it. You got to be willing to do what's necessary to get what you want. You want to be skinny? It's absolutely possible. Absolutely. And you can find plenty of people that have gone from 300, 400, even 500 pounds and lost, multi-hundred pounds to get skinny. It's possible. It's the question is are you willing to push your limits? Are you willing to push yourself far beyond where you've ever gone before in order to reach places where you've never been? So Sweetie Shorty says, also, I'm going to be 30 soon. I have really big boobs. I was wondering if you do breast lifts without scarring, but I can't. I care more about the lipo. So we actually do lipo over the breasts, and it's not for everybody. The lipo of the breast is a great procedure because there's no big cutting like the traditional breast lift, but there are restrictions, obviously, and with the breasts, there's some people have very fibrous breasts, and so it's not as much fat, which means that when we do liposuction, the results are not as good. On the flip side, if you have a lot of fat in your breasts, then liposuction could make them substantially smaller, and it works really, really well. The other thing that I don't necessarily like, and you seem to be younger, you said you're under 30, but if your breasts are like hanging down to your waist, they're like sagging way down because gravity's pulled them down, liposuction is probably not the best option for you because now you have all this loose hanging skin. So, and I'm not a huge fan of the cutting, the breast lift. I don't like that at all. However, it's right for some people, All right. It is amazing. She says, it's amazing to see people bigger than me look amazing after. It is cool, right? It's motivating. It inspires you. She says, I'm banned for no reason from Facebook. Yeah, that sucks. Facebook, right? They're struggling too, so. Okay. Say you've had a bad experience in Canada with talking to doctors. They wanted me to be at my goal weight. It's funny, right, that they have these stupid ass rules. Clearly you don't have to be, right? You don't have to be your ideal weight. But yet these doctors keep going off these stupid ass rules. Like, why do you create this stupid ass rule? Who thought of this stuff? And why has none of them figured it out that it's possible to do liposuction on a larger individual? Not only that, why has nobody figured out that this whole empty sack crap that they keep telling people it doesn't exist? It never happens. I've never seen an empty sack of skin after liposuction that was, big and hanging down like these plastic surgeons claim. And the only reason that I can see that they would tell people this is that because they want to sell you on the tummy tuck. And it's like it's the same sales technique every time. You don't want to have an empty sack of skin hanging from your belly, do you? And of course not. I would never want that. Okay, then we're gonna have to do a tummy tuck and cut that skin off. And you're like, okay. I mean, it's like, I hope that I can save some of you people out there that are right on the cusp of trying to decide between tummy tuck and liposuction. I hope I can save some of you because you don't need a tummy tuck. I don't even need to see you to tell you that you don't need a tummy tuck. There's probably like 1% of the patients that I deal with that actually need a tummy tuck. Very, very few people. However, tummy tuck is one, I think, like the sixth most popular cosmetic procedure in the country. So what does that amount to? You're talking about 150 to 200,000 people a year are getting their skin cut away. Totally unnecessary. But yet they do it. And they think it's like they have to. They think they have no other option. I mean, I even have friends, moms that tell me, "Oh, well, I can't get liposuction because I need a tummy tuck." And they're like not even close to looking like this. Not even close. The belly's not even folded over. But they believe these things. And if you believe it, then you won't believe me because it's opposite, right? If you believe that stuff, then you should go to the people that you believe and trust. And the people that are like-minded, that believe the same stuff, that's we need to bond together. And that's why I keep telling you, if you know people like this, if you believe this stuff is real, which it is, obviously, if you believe that this is possible for you, then you believe that it's possible for someone else. And that's why we need to get our bullhorns out and spread the word and tell everybody. Share this with as many people as possible, because how many people get taken advantage of through the tummy tuck, or feel like there's no hope for them because they can't lose weight through diet and exercise, or they can't lose weight through doing the things that they're doing? How many people are stuck in that hole? Like they feel like there's no hope. And maybe you've been caught there too, where you feel there's no hope. Things suck. Life sucks, and it's only you. Life's attacking you, and your life sucks. And you start to believe these things, and how could you advance if you felt that way? And that's simply just a thought. It's just a mindset. If you believe that you have no future, if you believe that you can't advance and grow, if you believe that, then you will in fact be stuck. Because it's just your belief, and to you it'll be real, and to you it'll be true. However, someone standing right next to you in the same situation, same room, I mean, exactly the same, they could have a totally different outlook, and they could have a positive outlook. And you know what? Believe that they can change, believe that they can make a difference. And that person, all of a sudden, it's like their world opens up to possibilities of things that they had no idea was even possible. So once you realize that this is possible, your mind expands. And once your mind expands, it will never contract to the same size. Once your mind expands and you realize that this is possible, you can't go on saying the stupid ass shit that you say and repeating the crap of the other stupid people that you've talked to before. How can you do that? Once you know, you can't unknow. Once you learn that you don't need a tummy tuck, how can you go on there and keep saying the same crap? Or how could you listen to other people say this nonsense and just stand idly by watching other people make stupid mistakes in their lives? I mean, we're trying to change people. We're trying to change their lives and impact the world. And so we need people to help us to share that information. Help to point people in the right direction. Get them on the right path. These patients have gone through this path, and it's like, imagine like you're walking through tall grass, right? The first person that walks through, you can see where the path went, but it's still, the grass is all grown. Next person walks through, it gets a little bit more worn down. But 100 people walk through it, 200 people, 300 people, all of a sudden the grass starts to die where the people are walking, and the path becomes more obvious. 1,000 people walk through, the path becomes bigger. Okay, thousands of people have gotten this procedure and gotten these type of results. Thousands. Okay, the path has been worn for you. All these people have made sacrifices so you today can take advantage of that path. I have worked my ass off to be able to do what I do, so today you can take advantage of these skills and abilities that I've developed. That's amazing, right? The path is there. All you have to do is walk. All you have to do is start moving. Take the first step. The first step might be the quick quote. Maybe you're beyond. You already know. You're ready to move. First step, go get your consultation. Okay? Maybe you've already done that. What's the next step? Okay? Let's put the deposit down. Let's lock this stuff in. Lock in the changes. Take your steps. One step at a time. The 1,000-mile race begins with the first step. Okay. Oh, that's awesome, sweetie. She said, yeah, I'm going to you and only you. I appreciate that. Working out and eating healthy and small, going to professionals is what I'm doing. Do your best. You got to figure out your body. You know, you can go to the professionals. They can tell you what most people benefit from. And maybe they'll give you some different ideas, but you have to change. And try one thing and be willing to change quickly. And so when you try something, give it some time. You know, maybe that's 2 or 3 months. Give it some time. And maybe it's good for you. Maybe it's not good for you. But if it's not good for you, stop, pivot, and change. Go a different direction. Glam Time LV says 7 days to my 360. I can't wait. Oh, super exciting. We've been doing quite a few of these 360s, so I can't wait. We're going to get some awesome results to show you guys soon. It's just a matter of time. Sweetie Shorty says, I try to change as much as possible. It's a slow journey, but I'm not gaining, thankfully. That's good. You know, when you say it's a slow journey, I don't know that it's a slow journey. It's a long journey, perhaps. You know, and long is all relative, right? So some of our journeys might be 100 years, some of ours might be a lot shorter. Slow is a choice. I think that your life can change very quickly. I've definitely seen it happen many, many, many times. And so I know that the life can change quickly. And it's not just, I'm not talking just liposuction either. You know, I told a story about my mom recently. My mom had coronary artery disease and had surgery on both of her necks, both sides of her neck. She had blood vessels that were clogged. And that clogging comes from, you know, realistically, it comes from lifestyle. The food that you eat, you know, the exercise or lack thereof, it's lifestyle. And so these things happen. And so she had surgery. You know, she went the traditional way, had the surgery, and then 6 months later, one side was clogged again. And I was telling her, I said, Mom, look, if your arteries are getting clogged here, why wouldn't they get clogged anywhere else? So if it's happening here, this is where we're catching it. But in reality, it's happening in the entire body. The whole thing's connected. If it happens one place, why wouldn't it happen in another? So what does that mean? What about your heart? Okay, now we're talking heart attack. What about your legs? Blood clots, right? Clotting issues. These things happen. If it happens one place, it's going to happen all throughout your body. So doctors, what they do, like, let's just fix this. You can keep doing the same crap that you're doing. Let's just fix this. And this is how, you know, modern medicine has treated people. We're just going to put Band-Aids on top of it. We're not really going to solve your problem. We're going to, you know, take care of the symptom. And then you can keep doing the stuff that you're doing and cause more problems. Then you can come back and give us more money and we'll fix it, whatever other thing happens. Instead, this is what I suggest. Instead, why don't you change at the source of the cause and change your life? And once you change at the base, everything up from there up gets better. Everything. So what did I have her do? Talk to her about diet. Talk to her about exercise. Talk to her about drinking more water. We went over all the ways to reduce inflammation in her body. So she independently did her own research, and I guided her from different places. I hooked her up with a nutritionist, so she learned a lot about her diet. And so she changed. She changed in her simple in her diet, right? She went vegetarian, so she gave up meat. She gave up processed sugars, and she gave up glutens. 3 months ago, she made these changes. And now, she tells me it's a miracle. 3 months ago, she made her changes, and now she tells me it's a miracle. And so, why is it a miracle? What did she experience? Well, she lost weight. Yeah, that wasn't her intention, but she lost weight. She gained significantly more energy. She says that the inflammation is down in her body, and I said, well, how do you know about that, Mom?
Well, her hands are all arthritic, and she couldn't even make a fist before, and she was unable to do some of the simple functions and things that she was doing, working with her hands. She was unable to do things, and she said, now look at this, she can make a fist. That's awesome, Mom. She said, yeah, that's not it. My knees, I was unable to bend because they were so arthritic. And she went in her chair and she grabs me. She's like pulled her knees. She pulled her knees all the way up to her chest, bent them all the way. She squat all the way down, a full squat, and with a huge smile on her face. And I was like, I just gave her a hug because it's a miracle. It's incredible. 3 months, and she is strict. I'm telling you, if you're gonna do it, it will take you a long time if you don't make a decision. And those people, I'm gonna try this. Trying leaves an out. Because when it gets overwhelming, you stop trying. When you should be dieting, you're telling your brain, these are the words that you'll use to yourself. I should be doing this. Your brain hears, yeah, we'll do it if it's convenient. Am I wrong? No. When you tell yourself you should be doing something, you will only do it when it's convenient to you. And as soon as it's inconvenient, boom, it's gone. You're done. So what I'm talking about is make a decision. I am going to do this. No matter what, I'm going to stick to this. And so that you have to develop your discipline. And discipline is like a muscle. And when you start working on that discipline muscle, you got to start out slow, like any other muscle, and you develop it. But in time, you can develop this amazing ability to have discipline to do whatever you want because you start seeing the benefits of the actions that you take. That's when it gets exciting. Like my mom, 3 months and she changed her entire life. It's like a miracle. I guarantee you the rest of her life is going to be different. Guarantee you. It's different. It already is. And she knows now what's possible. And so she's taking actions. And that's, to me, that's the excitingness. And that's why you got to pay it forward. This information you can go tell your parents. Go tell your friends what's possible. And maybe you inspire them and you inspire them to make big changes in their life. And you're the cause of a miracle. That makes me feel good. And I hope it makes you feel good too. All right, getting tired. So I hope you enjoyed the day. Hope you guys learned something. Hope we motivated you, inspired you. When you're ready to make some changes, or if you're just curious at this point, go get the quick quote so you get some pricing, figure out what it's going to cost you to get your new body. And when you're serious and you're ready to, when you made that decision, like enough is enough, get the formal consultation. Let's get this stuff, and we can make this stuff happen quickly. Okay, I work quick. That's what, to me, life, it doesn't have to take a long time. It doesn't have to be stretched out. We can make these big changes really quick, and you can be a whole new person. But I do my thing, you got to do your thing. Two things, right? It's a teamwork here. We'll get the fat out, but you got to change your lifestyle. Okay. The cool thing is that when you see the new body, you're able to get motivated because it's super exciting. All right. Thank you for watching. We'll be back next week. What? Instagram. What does that mean?